I first got this job, I wasn't sure what to expect, but nothing this unsettling. I started working at McDonald's within walking distance of my home. I'll refrain from any more details for privacy reasons. It was less than 10 minutes back and forth, so I thought it was a perfect fit. I don't have a car and it's easy money, I thought. After an hour long application kind of assessment type deal, I got a call for an in-house meeting with the manager. Let's say his name is Bob. He wore a black button-up, black slacks, a shiny name tag pinned to his shirt pocket next to a black pen with a chewed cap. He looked not much older than me, mid-20s, but his dark and sunken eyes made him look older. We talked for almost half an hour. I was visibly shaking for the first 5 minutes, but he didn't seem to notice. The last thing he said to me was, "See you Monday?" I was taken aback. "Just like that?" "Yeah, see you Monday." "Of course," I said as I shot up in my seat. He nodded before walking off, and I headed home, so happy to finally get a job. I thought the night shift would be a perfect for me, but if I could go back in time, I never would have answered the phone. I clocked in around 8 p.m. and went over to my coworker for the evening, Kate. She was an older woman with red hair done up in a ponytail. She was a bit heavy set and gave off a non nonsense attitude as she told me my duties. In summary, run the cash register when customers are here and clean up the place when they aren't. It was only the two of us from what I could tell, so I don't mind doing a little extra work. When I went up to my register, I found a yellow piece of paper under the drawer. It said, "Don't upset him." Huh? I flipped the paper over looking for more information. Kate? She came up from the fryer looking sweaty and upset. I dragged her away from the bag. "Did you leave me this note?" "No." "Is that all?" "You sure?" I looked back at her, but she was walking back to the grill. "Customers!" A couple hours after we locked up the lobby, at exactly 2:13 a.m., I heard what sounded like someone pounding on the glass, but no one was there. After a few seconds, I heard it again. There was a customer just standing in line. "Sir, the lobby is closed," I said. He just kept staring forward. I had no idea how he got in here. I'm sure the door was locked. Was he in the restroom now? I cautiously stepped towards him. "Sir, are you okay?" He was in his 30s, wearing a blue t shirt with ripped blue jeans. He had pupils so large I couldn't tell the color of his eyes. His mouth was moving like he was trying to speak, but no sound came out for the first few seconds. "Kind of," I asked him. He looked like a camel chewing hay. "Hard." "I'm sorry we're closed. The drive-thru's open though if you have a car." "Carne, meat." I took a step back. "Okay, meat, 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 meat." His teeth bared as his enlarged pupils focused on me. Yeah, let me get that for you." His gaze followed me around the restaurant. Kate was nowhere, and he was becoming more manic. So I pulled some frozen patties and turned on the grill. A bit of sweat dripped from my forehead as I snuck peeks at the man. He seemed perfectly still, like a statue, watching me. With the sizzling of the burgers, I grabbed some buns from the nearby workstation. When I turned back around, he was there, with his hand on top of the still cooking burger. His soulless eyes didn't seem to leave me while his hand burned. He shoved the burger into his mouth, swallowing it whole and then shambling closer to me. "Meat, meat, meow, yeah, you. I stepped back before he started shambling faster. I froze, but he went past towards the bag of frozen patties and started devouring the entire bag. He slunk away while he engorged himself with the frozen patties. His teeth looked like fangs ripping into the meat with a crackling sound of ice. He finished the bag in under 20 seconds before peering at me from behind the prep area. His teeth looked even sharper, and a low growling sound echoed through. I darted for the front door, but it didn't open. My key was gone, and his footsteps closer and closer. My vision blurred as the sweat dripped down from my forehead, but luckily to my left was the restroom. The door slammed behind me as I twisted the lock into place. I prayed it was enough. After the few moments of dead silence passed, with a bang, not a knock, more like he was pummeling into the door. It flexed and bent, but the door held. You, he said over and over. And then an even louder bang rattled the door as he slammed his whole body against it. The door could have buckled at any second, but then he stopped. I tried to call for help, but my phone had no signal. But the strangest thing was the time. It's till 2:13 a.m. It stayed 2:13, much longer than it should have. I counted the seconds. Numbers didn't change no matter how many times I counted to 60. The idea came to me to use my stopwatch to count down the seconds. It didn't move. My new plan was to barricade the door with a trash can and arm myself with a mop. It was terrible, but it was a plan. It was a terrible plan, but it was a plan. There was no window to escape from, and I didn't dare open the door. My only hope was Kate saw what happened and called the police or the guy left. After waiting in silence, eyes locked to the door, the blare of a single sink echoed through the restroom as the water ran from the faucet behind me. A cold sweat formed as I pictured him standing beside the sink, ready to rip me to shreds, but nobody was there. I turned the sink off, but the water didn't stop. It just turned to a dark, dirty brown with speckles of red and clumps of hair, completely overfilling the basin and flooding the restroom floor. It was viscous like honey and smelled of rotten meat. You, boomed from outside. The door trembled as he threw himself against it. The liquid encased the bottom of my shoe when a crackling sound came through the door frame. I closed my eyes and readied my mop like a spear. I held my breath. It was over. I wanted to, but I couldn't open my eyes. I could only tremble. I was going to die in a bloody and painful way, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. The next thing I felt was a vibration, a familiar buzzing sound I heard 100 times before. It was my phone alarm. The countdown ended. It was 2:14 a.m. I grasped for air in the uncomfortable silence. The viscous liquid was gone. The door was intact. I waited, not sure what to think or what to do. Settling on to push the door open a crack. Everything seemed normal, but then the return of footsteps. Before I could scurry back inside, I saw who it was. Kate! I burst out so happy to see someone who probably wasn't a cannibal. She jumped, not expecting me. I'm so glad you're all right. What happened? I paused. How could she not know? I thought. The guy, he broke in and ate all the frozen patties, chasing me around the restaurant until I locked myself in the restroom and broke it down, and there was big round sticky stuff everywhere. The clock didn't move, and then slow down. Were you smoking something in there? No, I slumped down to the floor. I had my parents pick me up and take me home at the end of my shift. I couldn't go out alone after what happened. Bob calls me to talk about what happened and every so often, but I don't ever want to step back into that place. I barely even leave my home. I don't think I ever will. Do you believe me? It happened. You could think I'm insane or a liar, but it happened. There's no changing it. Just remember one thing. Never go to McDonald's at 2:13 a.m. Update. I have I haven't been sleeping these past few days. At night when I look out from my living room, I still see him. He's standing in my yard looking back at me, his big black eyes filled with maliceness. By the time I'm ready to call the cops, he's gone. He stalks me, waiting for an opportunity to finish the job, or maybe he's just here to torment me. I don't know what to do.